Hey y'all, so we are back with another spiritual hour. We are on week number 7. We are back with the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. We're gonna get into some things. Hopefully y'all are doing great today. Hopefully y'all are in a good mood to get the answers that you want from spirit, from the divine, and those who are watching just as curious watchers, those who are watching because they would like to submit or don't know how this works. This is Spiritual Hour. Spiritual Hour is where we use the divine, the spiritual guides, the unknown shadow side answers to y'all's questions. Y'all submit it weekly to the BlackWomanVibes@gmail.com account, and those who are selected, they get to be featured on Spiritual Hour. Spiritual Hour is 10 slots for 10 submissions. We spend about 10 minutes on each question, and we get the answers from the tarot deck, from the divine, from the spiritual guides, and we move on to the next week's Spiritual Hour. So let's clear the room, y'all. Let's clear the room. All right, we're gonna use some sage. We're gonna clear the room, clear the atmosphere. Okay, we are starting our morning refresh, refine. We're leaving yesterday's issues in yesterday, and we're moving into today with positivity, with happiness, with lightheartedness, with a cool demeanor, because are actually trying to stay cool because it's actually hot as heck outside. We're just welcoming everything that's empowering, everything that is supportive, everything that is healthy, everything that is in line with our personal development and our personal growth in this journey called the human experience. Clearing out everything that does not support us, that is not conducive to our overall growth. And we are inviting everything that is empowering, everything that is loving, everything that is supportive. Ashe, ashe. Almost forgot about lighting my candle. Not a little lighting my candle. Okay. Now, we're going to move on to the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. I've been using this ever since I started Spiritual Hour. Y'all know this is my favorite deck of the moment, probably of the year. And I love it because of the watercolors. As you can see within the deck, they're very detailed, they're very natural, and they have a watercolor feel to it. So I love the deck, and this is what the back looks like. I don't think I've ever showed the back, but it has kind of like a pattern, kind of reminds you of like scales or kind of reptilian in the back. So let's get on with the questions before I melt on camera. Okay, we're going to start off with 1D, competitiveness. Hi, Black Woman Vibes. My sister and I don't get along. We've never gotten along. Ever since I can remember, my sister and I were always in competition with each other, from the stupidest things like who could race to the door first, to bigger things like who did mom love the most. The behavior was encouraged by our family because they said it built character and that there could only be one number one. Which to a degree that is true. There can only be one number one, but that shouldn't mean that you should always compete with everyone for everything. Because being number one in the bad things don't really hit like being number one in the good things. Now that we're adults, this competitive thing still hasn't stopped between us. I want to be able to be a sister to my sister without it feeling like a competition. Can you ask the cards, how can I do that? So, yeah, we can do that. Like I said, competitiveness is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it shouldn't be everything, and everything shouldn't turn into a competition because everything isn't a competition. So I'm wondering, why did y'all's family encourage this to the point where you're arguing about who gets your mother's affection more, because not only is that ridiculous, but that's super unhealthy. The fact that your family would encourage that, I'm low-key judging. I'm be honest, I'm low-key judging. But let's see how the divine can help you help yourself with you and your sister and break this. Okay? Because we want to empower each other. We want to encourage each other, and a healthy competition, there's nothing wrong with that. But it should never be at a point where everything turns into a competition, like I said, as well as it shouldn't always have to be at the expense of I win, you lose type of mentality. You have the Three of Wands in reverse. You also have the Nine of Cups in reverse. A lot of reversals. Let's see if we can get one more card from the divine. Ooh. And we have the Eight of Cups. So from what I have gathered is that it seems like there was a lot of instability, emotional instability, and it seems that it's stemming from your childhood, that perhaps your family were maybe stoic or cold, or they were not as affectionate. Probably one of those families where it's like, I don't tell you that I love you, but like the rent is paid. Is that not love enough? So I'm assuming that that's the way that you were brought up. So there wasn't a lot of affection. A lot of things were like unsteady conclusions, and perhaps you didn't get the unsteady conclusion, like you didn't get what wasn't stated, or you didn't understand, or someone didn't point it out to you. But it seems as if your family, the way they operate is that they're not so emotionally available, and they don't really express their love. And I'm seeing that them installing this competition thing was kind of like preparing you for the world, perhaps as a person of color, perhaps as a woman, that your parents and your family wanted you to know that you will face obstacles. So let's prepare you, let's train you for the obstacles that you will face. So when you are in the real world, whether it's the workplace or wherever else, and you're in situations where you have to quote unquote prove yourself, you won't be caught off guard where it's like, I had no idea this was a thing. Like, sexism a thing, colorism is a thing, racism is a thing. These things, these obstacles, these biases, these prejudices that keep us hold back. So what I'm getting from the cards is that that was your parents' understanding of things. And I'm not saying that was the right thing, but that's the way they processed it, and that's the reason why they did what they did. What I can say from picking up the energy of the card is the way to stop the competition between you and your sister is to have that heart-to-heart, one-on-one conversation. Is to talk about your childhood, talk about why did the environment of competition was a thing, and like how to break that generational curse. I think if you're more emotionally available, your sister becomes more emotionally available, y'all can see each other as sisters and not direct competitors. So that's what I'm getting from the divine. Hopefully that helps. Next question. 2A. Jealous sister. Hey, BlackWomanVibes. This question I am submitting to tarot is about my jealous sister. My sister is jealous of me because I am everything she wanted to be. My sister, who is older by 2 years, followed that rebel with no cause trope. She was mad just to be mad. We come from a well-to-do family and had just about everything we wanted. We didn't have to go without. In fact, we had double and then some. My sister, for some reason, felt discontent and admired the struggle. She went off to college and found a group who were liberal extremists. They convinced her that coming from affluence is wrong and that she had to prove herself as the commoners and not a mole. She ended up becoming brainwashed by these deranged and jealous misfits. She dropped out of college and spent 3 years hypnotized by misguided jealousy. Three years. Now that she's returned home, she's picking half-ass fights with me because I married an enterprising man with class. She keeps reminding me that other blacks have it bad and I shouldn't be so elitist. I told her the other day that her jealousy reeks. Her response to me was she hopes that I choke on a MAGA dick. I know I shouldn't be laughing. I know I shouldn't be smiling, like, on all honesty. But that was slick. That was rude. That was totally uncalled for. But that was also kind of funny. A little bit. Just a tad bit. My question to Spirit is, how can I cut ties with my jealous sister once and for all? So I'm getting a lot of contempt from this email. I'm assuming your sister was one of those, like, pro-black and we can overcome and we all need to be together in Pan-Africanism, and you probably were the type who were opposite. Like she says, elitist, so you were probably the type who was just like, we fall into classes, we fall into categories, sometimes we win some, sometimes we lose some, but at the end of the day, I don't feel guilty, I don't feel shamed for my privilege. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you are a person of color, especially a black woman, and you are able to have some type of privilege, I'm not going to tell you to throw that thing in the garbage. I'm not going to tell you to don't value it or don't use it to the best of your ability. No, knock that thing out the park. Do it for all of us, okay? So I'm not going to knock that. But do I think it's wrong to be elitist? It depends on the context, and that's a conversation in itself, and it has nothing to do with spiritual hour. And this is your session, this is your slot. But what I will say is that there's a lot of unpacking you got to do with your sister, and let's see if Spirit can help you with that unpacking. Let's do that, because there's a lot in there. There was underhanded remark, there was a lot of contempt, there was a lot of shadow side work that needs to be done on both sides. I mean, the MAGA point was a little cheeky, but that's your sister. That's your sister. That's not even some stranger. That's not even a friend or an ex-friend. That's your sister. So there's a lot of situations y'all gotta work out. We got the Seven of Swords that speaks of deception, and we have the Seven of Pentacles upright, and then we have the Daughter of Swords in reverse. So what I'm getting from these cards is that there's a lot of mistrust between you and your sisters. There's a lot of deceit. There's a lot of, like, I don't trust her, she don't trust me. We in direct opposition with each other. We're in competition with each other, and it shows. And it's funny because I told her the other day that her jealousy reeks. Y'all's contempt for each other reeks. Y'all hatred, jealousy, insecure attachment styles, y'all's whatever reeks. And it really shows that there's like a lot of, like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if you ever seen that movie. It's kind of like on face value, on surface value, like everything's okay, everything's copacetic, like normal, regular, just typical. But in reality, the under the shadow, the behind the scenes, it's really on some, I don't trust this bitch, she don't trust me, and we are doing this weird tango of sorts that we like each other, but we don't. And I guess it wouldn't be that bad if this person was not your sister. It would still be bad, but it speaks alarming that it's your sister. We have the Seven of Pentacles that speaks of hard work that needs to be done, that there needs to be a lot of evaluation of self. And I see that this is not working. From your email and from what I'm getting from the cards, that this is not working. That aside from what you're asking, how can you cut your sister off once and for all? Your relationship with people that you're intimately involved with. This is just an example with your sister, but this could speak across the board, like your relationship styles, the way you view relationships, the way you enter relationships, the way that you maintain relationships, and so on and so forth. It's a real struggle, and it speaks to a lot of ego, a lot of emotionalism, a lot of disrespect, and your sister's just an example of this. But I can see this across the board, that you have a particular character and a lot of character flaws. You just don't see it. So, and no one really calls you out on it, probably because you're of affluence. So those who are beneath you, which would be the majority, and we're talking about class now, they don't tell you nothing because they don't want to get the blunt of your retaliation or just you being upset. But the people above you, they are just above you. So they are accustomed to you and accustomed to being this way. So they don't see an issue with it. But with the Daughter of Swords, what I'm saying with that is that to cut ties, you have to be no longer involved. You're still involved. You're still watching. You're still commenting. You're still engaging. You're still feeding that fire with you and your sister. To cut her off indefinitely, because a lot of sword energy, so it's a lot of mental, it's a lot of shadow side. You need to resolve whatever your issue is with relationships, and not just your sister, but just with anybody. You got to do that self-evaluation. You got to be honest with yourself, man in the mirror moment. Like, you got to go through that, and then understand why your sister and yours relationship is not that great. And it's not just your sister, it's your sister and you. So you got to see the role that you play to be able to finally cut that situation off. So that's what I'm getting from Spirit. Hopefully that helps. 3C. Who will win the presidency? Hey girl, love your channel. Keep up the great work. My question to you is, who will win the presidency? I know you say getting a tarot reading isn't like a psychic reading, which is true. I'm not really sure how psychics conduct their service, but tarot is not necessarily psychic. They can cross paths, they can be similar, but the way a tarot reading is conducted is not the same as how a psychic reading would be conducted. But nonetheless, like, get your spiritual healing and your spiritual guidance wherever you can find it. There's no yes or no in tarot, but I'm dying to know. Sometimes I think Trump has another chance to win a second term, but then I see him make major mistakes, like host a rally during a pandemic or insult yet again another group of people. Then I'm like, Biden has this. However, Biden isn't the most active or assertive candidate. That one mistake he made, saying if Black people didn't vote for him, it would make them not Black or something like that. I don't know. I'm curious though, who will win. Again, you know, PSA, tarot is not psychic, as well as there's no, the way tarot is, it's more like a spiritual consultation, right? So it's not a yes or no. It's a feel for the conversation. It's a feel for the energy. It's a feel for what you're asking. Getting messages from the divine, getting messages in spiritual symbols and signs and so on and so forth. So there's elements of it that is very psychic and very shadow side, of course. But when we do tarot, it's best that you don't ask yes or no questions, because life is not yes or no. Life has sometimes very precise messages, and other times life is kind of like, it's up to your own interpretation. But anyways, my point in saying that, kind of long-winded, is that I cannot determine who will be the president, who will not be the president. It's not a yes or no type of thing, but I'll see what the divine has. I can't pull up a card and be like, this is Trump, and pull up another card that says, this is Biden. All I can do is shuffle the cards and see what Spirit has for you. So that's what we finna do. So cards, can you tell us... Ooh. Can you tell us the message, the Daughter of Wands? We have this upright. We also have the Nine of Swords in reverse. And we also have the Ace of Pentacles upright. Okay. I can't tell you if that's Joe, and I can't tell you that it's Donald. All I can say is Ace of Pentacles. But let's see what the divine has to say. So this is what I'm getting from the cards. So what I am getting from the cards is that the person who's going to take the presidency for the next term, because I'm assuming you're speaking of election season that's going, which is this year with all that is going on in the world's elections. So what I'm pulling up from the cards is that this person who's going to be the president or who's going to have the seat this coming fall is a person with a lot of tenacity. It's a person with a lot of vigor, someone who is very fiery, someone who is very like take charge, someone who's very boss-like, someone who has a lot of leadership, someone who even is able to command a certain tone, a certain energy, a certain vibe. This person gets a lot of attention. This is a person who is gifted to a sort, but not gifted like, oh, you have such a beautiful voice, or oh, you paint like Picasso. It's more like some people are gifted with numbers, right? Like they can calculate anything in their minds that they can give you an answer in like 2.5 seconds. Then there's other people, they're very like compact, right? They are very STEM, right? They're very STEM-like. So they're science, they're technology, they are engineering, mathematical, like they got it like that, right? The Daughter of Swords for this question that you're asking is that this person has the ability to move people, and that's their gift, that's their craft. Whether you like this person, you don't like this person, they are able to get a certain reaction out of you. That's their gift. Y'all may not see it, but with the Nine of Swords and what it means, this person's going to bring a lot of changes, but good changes. And not necessarily good changes like the end of all isms and we are the world's kumbaya. Like, let's be realistic. But this person's going to bring a lot of good changes. It's going to affect the economy. It's going to affect people's personal lives. They're going to bring a lot of stability, a lot of hope. They're going to bring a lot of positive changes, new looks into things. And it's not necessarily just them just bringing it like Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, but it's them working with a team of people, them being very genuine, and them being very like, I see you, I hear you, and I'm working with you. Now, I also see this person as not very likable. I also see this person as even problematic. But I see this person either having like a personal revelation of sorts, epiphany, or something that makes this person see that there are things that they are able to control or influence, and it's in their best interest to do it for the people. It's going to be very controversial. Not everybody is going to like this particular person. However, hate it or love it, by the end of the 4 years that they do, there is going to be one of those hate it or love it type of acknowledgement of this person in history. However, you will not be able to take away the quote unquote good things that they bring. because it's going to be a very effective, very useful, and it's going to be one of those things where it's like, it doesn't happen on my time, but it happens anyway. It's kind of like what the Christians say. They will say stuff like, he might not be there when you call, but he's always on time in regards to Jesus and Christianity, right? So this is the kind of energy this person's carrying. Not like he's Jesus or anything. Definitely not. But what he's going to implement is going to be things that either have never happened or hasn't happened in a very long time. And because he executed what he needed to execute, how he executed it, is going to give him a legacy. Even if he is just a puppet and everybody in the background is doing what they're doing for their own agenda. But he'll be the face of it and you will eventually get the credit for it. And then with the Ace of Pentacles, all good from the Taurus, okay? Ace of Pentacles is speaking of like, when you think about a vacation to Hawaii, you think of Ace of Pentacles. And that's in regards to not like everybody in the United States is going to be millionaires and we're going to be taking a nationwide trip to Hawaii. But it's speaking of content. It's speaking of balance. It's speaking of fruitfulness. It's speaking of happiness. It's speaking of stability. It's speaking of even like a small victory. So that's what I'm seeing from the next person who takes on the presidency. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an immediate like, it's going to be work now. I can see a lot of trial and error and strife before you see the, when it happens, it's going to hit and it's going to hit right. Hopefully that resolves your question. Moving on. I know God has sent him to me. We like the same things, we believe in similar things, and we both have great personalities. My only issue is that my boyfriend is very feminine. He goes with me to get pedicures. He has a better hair care routine than me, and his fashions are more crazier than mine. He's such a loving person and a great man, but his feminine ways makes my friends question his sexuality. They keep asking me if he's bi or ready to stop using me as a beard. Your friends are blunts. I don't think he's gay. I don't think of myself as a beard, but there's one way to find out. Ask the cards for me. I like that. Ask the cards for me. Okay, we're going to ask the card for you, sis. Because I would not want you to be wasting your time as a beard when you could fully be out here living your best life with a man who truly desires you. And not for his insecurities, but because he actually really digs you. So, let's see what the cards has in store for you. Cards, please reveal to 4V. Is her man on the low? Is he on the DL? What is going on with 4V's man? Oh, we have the 9 of Pentacles. Okay. 2 more cards. Spirit, please let 4V know. Ooh, we have the Temperance card. 1 more card. Can we answer 4V's question about her man? Is her man into men too? Are they sharing the same boo? Son of Cups in reverse. Okay. I can't tell for if any fact. I wouldn't want to put that in the atmosphere. I don't want to put that out there and be like, yeah, he is girl and whoop-de-whoop, because that's not my place. But what I'm getting from the cards is that I do feel feminine energy. However, I think in regards to your significant other, it's not that he's using you as a beard as much as he hasn't accepted himself yet. So he's not necessarily playing you on some like, you know, I got me a bitch and I got me a dude, you know, doing me. But it's really on some like, I'm thinking about it. I may desire it on the subconscious, or I might desire it on my incognito mode. But I'm not out here. I'm not living it. I'm not doing it. But I'm thinking about it. But I'm desiring it. I'm having internal conflicts about it. But I'm not actively practicing said desires. That's what I'm getting from your significant other. I think with your significant other that you shouldn't go into the conversation on some like rah shit, on some like, oh, you're gay. My friends said you were gay. I got a reading and it said that you're gay, so you're gay. I wouldn't come at it like that. I would come at it with much sensitivity, much understanding, much openness, because I feel like he wants to like take this burden off of his shoulders, but he doesn't know how to. So he's just like stuffing it in. And you need to free yourself. And I also think that to a degree you have to free him. And he's not going to go about it. He's not going to cut it off. He's not going to, break your heart or break up with you. But he won't be living his truth, and therefore he won't be able to totality fulfill you, right? He gets the mani and petties with you, but like, y'all are good friends. But there's a level of like disconnect, because that level is like true intimacy and true desire, and he doesn't have that for you. You're just his like really good Judy versus like his love of his life. So within this conversation of sorts, if you choose to have one, I think you should bring to it with a lot of understanding, a lot of love, a lot of compassion, a lot of openness, a lot of empathy, so he can tell you his truth. And then you could tell your interpretation of his truth or how you're receiving it. And y'all could come to a happy medium, whether it's y'all gonna stay together, you're gonna test things out with them, you're gonna wait. I don't know. But at least y'all could be on the same page versus on some contempt type of vibe. Yeah. Because the next card after is the Five of Swords, and it's talking about self-sacrificing. Yeah. There is a deception, but it's a self-deception, and it's like killing him inside. So that's what I'm getting from the cards. Yeah. Talk to him. That's what I'm getting. Talk to him. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that answers your question. Moving on. 5B, mental illness. What's up, Black Woman Vibes? I've been struggling with bipolar disorder from the age of 13. I'm 26 now. I am able to regulate my medication to prevent a crisis. Most days I'm okay, and a few days I'm trying to get out of bed. Although mental illness has been destigmatized, I do know that I'm different, that there is no cure for bipolar. All I can do is cope and manage my mental health the best way I can. My question to Spirit is, how can I overcome my own internalized stigmatization? Ooh, say that 6 times fast. So, how can you get over your own stigmatization? Ooh, what a word. So I'm guessing that you've accepted that you have bipolar, you've accepted that you have a mental illness, but that does not mean that you like it, and you might be maybe restricting yourself or over-policing yourself or criticizing yourself. So now you're trying to ask, how can you, not just on paper, like this is bipolar, these are the symptoms, this is what I exhibit, like loving yourself even through bipolar and what comes with being bipolar. Okay. Cards, can you resolve 5 B's? Okay. Her own internalized stigmatization. Oh. We have the Magician in reverse. 2 more cards. 2 more cards for 5B. Why does she internalize the fact that she has bipolar? There's nothing wrong with having a mental illness. There's nothing wrong going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with saying that you need help. There's nothing wrong with any of that. And anybody who tries to make you feel guilty or make you feel weird or misunderstood or whatever, is not a person you even need to be around. The Nine of Cups. One more card. One more card. Because if we don't make fun of people for breaking their ankles and needing to go to the doctor, then why would we make fun of someone who has a mental illness? And we have the Seven of Swords once again. What is going on? So if we don't make fun of people who have broken ankles and go to the hospital, then why would we make fun of someone who has a mental illness and needs care? Like, what's the difference? Anywho, so what I'm receiving from the cards is that I feel like you accept the fact that you have bipolar. Like I was saying, like you understand it on paper. Like, this is bipolar disorder. This is its symptoms. This is what it looks like when I'm in crisis. This is what my mania looks like. This is what my depression looks like. Like, you can understand it. You can regurgitate it. Like, it makes total sense. However, you still haven't dealt with the fact that this is a part of you, and this might even be a part of your identity. That does not mean that when you think of B, you think of bipolar, which starts with a B, but nonetheless, you're not synonymous with it, but you feel as if you're synonymous with it. And you're saying that you're not synonymous with it, but you feel this way. And you feel this way because with the Nine of Cups, it's speaking of balance. It's speaking of like being whole, being present, being hopeful. However, being able to see your emotions clear. However, that's not how you really feel with the Seven of Swords. And I think this is in regards to your self-deception. Like, you have everything within you. It's speaking with the Magician card. Like, you have everything that you need. Like, you are smart, that you are persevering, that you are emotionally available, that your finances are great. Like, you out here, you win it. Even in reverse. And I feel like for you, it's in reverse because you haven't tapped into the fact that having bipolar is a part of your experience, but that does not define your experience. So you still feel like you're sick or damaged in some sort of way. The Nine of Cups is like, yeah, you can regurgitate what's on paper, but emotionally, there's some type of deception with the Seven of Swords because this is how you're presenting in the real world. But in the shadow side, in the crevices of your head, when you're by yourself, you actually feel like the Nine of Cups in reverse. You actually do feel like you're broken. And for you to really be able to destigmatize yourself is to know that your life is not based around your mental illness. It's just a part of the way you experience this human experience. But that does not define you. And that's the important thing, is understanding that this mental illness does not define you. And until you can believe it yourself and not something that you read on paper or your therapist tells you to say that, or, I don't know, pro whatever, PC culture. Not just for PC culture either. Like, when you truly understand that this is just a part of my human experience, but this does not define me. Like, me being a woman does not define my entire existence, but it is a major part of my identity, just like being Black. But I don't look at every experience that I have as like, because I'm Black, I experienced this. I look at it like, I experienced this because I was meant to experience this, or I was at this place at this time being this person. Just things happen to be that way. And the way things transpire may be influenced because I'm a woman. It may be influenced because I am Black. But I would not look at my whole life experience through, everybody sees me and they just see me as just this Black thing. And everywhere I go, people just see me as just this uterus thing. I go, people see me as me. And it may be biased and influenced because of these other traits. I think if you get to that point where your bipolar diagnosis doesn't define you, then that's when you can destigmatize yourself. Hopefully that helps. And we're moving on to 6B. Man stroking his ego goes wrong. Hi, Black Woman Vibes. I've known my husband for 6 years and married for 2. He's an awesome family man. He is a provider, protector, and producer. He comes from a not-so-great family in a rough neighborhood in North Carolina. He had to work his ass off in college to get where he is now. He deserves all the accolades I give to him, but my issue with David is that he always needs validation in the form of verbal praises. I get it. Everyone has different love languages, but verbal praises for every damn thing is absolutely ridiculous. Well, last week, I finally felt safe enough to take our 1-year-old daughter out to the park. It was an excellent family bonding moment. There were other families at the park, but we kept distance while the kids had fun. Just like practically the world, everyone has a bottle of hand sanitizer with them. Our daughter is learning how to walk and still falls like every other baby in America. Our daughter took a soft tumble that she caught with her hands extending in front of her. She didn't cry, but shakily got back up. The other mothers at the park awed at her. I picked her up to clean her hands with hand sanitizer. Black Woman Vibes, I forgot it. That is something I hate. Even before the pandemic, I hate not having 2 things on me. I hate, well, a couple of things actually. But like my top 2, besides like my keys, my phone, like, you know, typical things, money and whatnot, is going out and not having hand sanitizer and going out and not having a bottle of water. Like, those are 2 things you're always gonna find on my person. A bottle of water and hand sanitizer. Because no matter where you go, you're always gonna need clean hands. Like, that's never not gonna be a thing. And if I'm thirsty and I'm somewhere, anywhere, I would rather have my own bottle of water so I can go, and I'm good, versus being thirsty, or versus taking a drink from a stranger. I'm still on that stranger danger. I don't know you. Versus, you know, taking these chances. So those are 2 things when I'm out and about. If I don't have them, I feel like, damn, it may not be a great day today. Embarrassed and rummaging through my bag, a mother walks over to me and asks if I was looking for hand sanitizer. Do you know David literally bombarded our conversation with hand sanitizer up in our faces, saying a father can't afford to forget, and snatched our baby from my hands to put a glob of hand sanitizer, smearing it all over our baby. I want to say, Alex, he's there. He's a good father. He's helping out and all that good stuff. But, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, if I were useless, I'd be so mad. It'd be like a combination of things. The fact that you snatched the baby, the fact that you don't bathe her in hand sanitizer, the fact that you try to slick shade me and my parenting talking about a father can't, what was it? A father can't afford to forget. So you saying a mother can afford to forget? What you saying, like you're more superior because you're the father? Like, we would have problems, and we're just gonna leave that at that. It made us all feel super uncomfortable that our daughter began to throw a fit, and the other mothers walked away with a shocked facial expression. Black Woman Vibes, I was so livid. Black Woman Vibes, I was so livid, I thought I was going to cuss him out then and there. I need to have this conversation with David and his childhood issues, but I want to bring it up in a manner that doesn't cause him alarm or have him take the defense. Can you ask the divine, how can I execute this? Okay. So he is a helicopter parent because I guess he didn't have parents, so now he's like overcompensating. Got it. You need to have a conversation with them because I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I don't have kids. But what you're not willing to do is try me on my parents, and that's what you're not willing to do. And for him to be your husband, and I get it, like, right, come from that background, you know, you want to be the father that he probably never had, probably a typical Black and Stan story, but that does not mean that that's the way you react. We got the star card, as well as what does that say to you about you? Like, what does that say how he views you in your motherhood, or how he views you in parenting? Like, that would be a major insult, because now you're telling me without telling me that I'm not a great mom and you can't trust me with our child. Like, sir, you tried it. There's a lot of unpacking there. I don't want to unpack every single point because that would be a video in itself. But we gonna see how you can have this conversation with David, because David is tripping. David tripping in these streets. And I think I would have cussed him out. You said you wanted to, I would have cussed him out, because what you're not going to do is embarrass me. What you're not going to do is question my parenting. What you're not going to do is that whole little situation at the park. That would not be it. And then the baby cried too, so the baby was like, yo, I'm tired too. Y'all stressing me out. And all I wanted to do was learn how to walk. Let's see what the spirit has in store for you. Okay, 2 great cards actually. So we have the Mother of Cups first, and then we have the Empress card. So what I'm getting from these cards is baby boy gotta face his fears. And I think you know what it is. I think you know what it is, but we gonna take this little by little. He needs to face his fears because, like you've mentioned in the email, and I stated in this segment, is that he has childhood issues, right? So a lot of his way that he views parenting, the way that he's a father, even the way that he's a husband, and just a man in general, is based off of his upbringing, what he's witnessed, and what he has internalized, what is programmed into him. I don't see any maliciousness in him, but like baby boy has to face his fears of going back into childhood and dealing with what he experienced, and realizing that yes, you defied the odds, and yes, that made you who you are. However, you are going to be a fantastic person whether you had a shitty childhood or not, because what's written in the stars for you was always going to happen regardless. Okay, our stories are already written before we even know how to read. So you need to be able to have a conversation with them. And I do see that he's a sensitive person. I do see that he's a person who's not sensitive in the sense of like, I cry all the time, but really on some like George Jefferson, All in the Family, like he gives me that type of vibe where he's like, I'm man, hear me roar, I'm the patriarch, yeah. But anything that unnerves him, like a woman have her own opinion, it's like, oh my God, meltdown, mayday. And I see that he's that type of person. Like him being a man and him being able to be a man and patriarch, a successful man, means a lot to him. And any type of critique is a harsh criticism to him and his ego. So I would say definitely have the conversation. Like he'll be alright if his ego gets bruised, but handle it with care, because you know what the type of person you're dealing with, and you know his heart and his intentions. But if you break his feelings, he'll be alright. The Mother of Cups is speaking of like, you know, like the psychic energy, and it's talking more so like emotions, being able to see the unstated, being able to understand like the complexities of why humans do the things that they do and the way that they think, because a lot of it is the subconscious and what we were programmed to as children. So I see with the Mother of Cups is like, again, handle the situation, because I see that's you, Mother of Cups. Handle that situation with delicacy, handle that situation with care and love, but also understand that you're talking to a subconscious. So a lot of the conversation, you might be having it with the man, but it might be the child that responds, you know, the inner child in him. So you might be talking to him about his childhood and the way he was brought up and whatnot, and he may be talking with like bass, and I assume like he's like very like masculine built. He might be like kind of swole or maybe kind of like built and stocky, whatever. But when you start having these deep conversations and you're really able to tap into someone's subconscious, you might find that you're responding and you're talking to the inner child versus the grown-ass adult. So be prepared for that, and also handle that with kitten gloves. I would even suggest y'all go to like couples therapy. That would be great. I would even suggest doing that. And then with the Empress card that is ruled by Libra, that also rules Taurus, I say there's a lot of love, because you know, when we talk about Venus, we talk about love, we talk about Cupid and Valentine's Days and all that other stuff, right? And interesting enough to me, whenever I see the Empress card, especially in this deck, the Empress is actually a tree, but it reminds me of a placenta. And when I think of it like that, it reminds me of new life. So when I see the Empress card within this deck, it's talking about new life, it's talking about rebirth, it's talking about rejuvenation, refreshness, and it's also talking about solitude, and it's talking about like something that's there to stay. It's budding now because it's new, but it's something that's going to give you long-term stability and long-term fruitfulness. So kind of like a child, and you have a child. So y'all will be okay. Y'all be okay, but these are the things that make relationships really real. It's not just about love and marriage and matching outfits and Mrs. and Misters and getting the rings and the ceremonies. It's also about, people come with baggage and people got a lot of shadow side stuff that they haven't dealt with. Is that something that you're feeling to do? Is that something you're feeling to work out? Is that something that you're aware of? And it's funny because the Nine of Wands actually kind of slid out of the deck. And it's speaking to like a journey that's almost done. It's almost completion. It's almost satisfying, right? And it's kind of like a scale of a ladder. So you're almost there, but there's just some work that needs to be done. You got to keep the motivation going. You might feel tired. You might feel like this ain't it. Let me call my divorce attorney. But it's saying like your issues are almost resolved. You just got to take the next step. So hopefully that helps. Next question. 7S. Not a church girl. My brother keeps volunteering me to church functions that I don't have time to attend nor want to attend. He keeps telling me that everything should come second to church. I get it. Our church holds a special meaning to us. That is like our second home. But I am not 5 anymore. I have a life and I don't believe in religion like I used to. I think he knows that and is trying to rebuild my faith. I like spending time with my brother, but I don't want every invitation to be a church one. How can I tell my brother that my relationship with God is intact and that my relationship with the church that isn't? Okay. So you want to convey to your brother that basically you grown, you're going to do what you want to do, even if that means that it ain't church. I don't know why you just can't say that. But maybe he's just not taking your no seriously. And which speaks to boundaries, which speaks to disrespect. It also speaks to, should you even be trying to maintain a relationship with somebody who does not respect your boundaries and not respect your no's as no's and yes as yes. Also speaks to patriarchy, patriarching, and it also speaks to the dynamic that you have between you and your brother, because he doesn't see you as your own autonomous being. He still sees you as a 5-year-old. So those are stuff that you should try to resolve with your brother. But that's not what you came here for. You came here to find out, how can you tell your brother that you're grown and you don't want to go to church and who will beat your ass, and it is what it is. I feel you, sis. Except I would just say straight up, I don't want to go. Who's going to beat my ass? And I'm not feeling to do so. Like, it would just be that. Okay. So let's see what the cards have in store. You have the Mother of Wands. See if we can have, ooh, you have the Three of Wands in reverse. See if we can get one more card. One more card. Ha! And we have the Father of Wands. So you got all types of wand energy, fire energy. Oh boy. Wow, a lot of passion. In the church, got that passion. The choir, yeah. And the vigor, yeah. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay. The Mother of Wands, you may think it's funny. I feel like that's your brother. I feel like your brother got that energy where it's like, he's a zealot. But he's one of those like, not just I am a Christian so I get to judge you, but he like full blown, I recite each verse, you know, wake up and go to sleep, Jesus, don't miss out, no church, anything, even when I'm sick, always front and center, always volunteering, always doing missions, always doing trips. Like, he's heavily involved, okay? And I think in his mind, he thinks he's saving your soul. I think in his mind, he's like, well, I know my seat in heaven is reserved. So I don't know about y'all, but I like y'all. Y'all cool with me. But when I get to heaven, I don't want to be alone. So I need y'all to be saved so we can, you know, have fun in heaven together. But not like litty fun, like church vacation fun. I don't know how that turns out. But like, he likes y'all as you, but he also is, what I'm getting from the Mother of Wands is that he is very concerned with your spirituality and your relationship with God. And that's why he is always pushing that Christian narrative, because he's concerned with preserving your soul and preserving your whatever in his dogma. And that's why he's always so with his teaching. The Three of Wands in reverse, this speaks to, again, when I think about the Three of Wands, I think of a portal. And it's in reverse because I'm seeing there's something that happened with him in his childhood in regards to either the church, y'all's church, Christianity, something. Something that happened that moved him, that inspired him with religion. I don't know if he got baptized real young. I don't know if he came from a bad situation, got into the church, and then like things improved. But there was some like prolific moment in his childhood that happened in regards to Christianity. And that's why not only is he such a zealot, but like why it just matters so much to him. And with the Father of Wands, I feel like that's you. Interesting. Is this gender reversal? I feel like this is you. And I feel like this is like, I feel like this card is saying, girl, why you acting like you don't know what to do? Like, this is what I'm getting from this card. It's like, you acting like you don't know what to do. Like, you ain't got that heat. You ain't got that fire. Like, you're not that chick when you know you are. That in the sense of like your attitudes, your character, your like demeanor. You're not a person who takes ish much, but for some reason you're playing a back seat to your own misery. So within this card, it's saying like, basically, you know what to do, but you don't want to do it. And I guess you don't want to do it because this brother of yours means so much to you. And I'm saying with this is like kind of like strike when the iron's hot. Do what you need to do. Handle your business. And I think the way you should handle the situation is be honest. Like, ain't that what they say? Be honest. Tell the truth and set you free. You know, be an honest person. I think you should just tell them like, this is why I don't want to do it. This is why this doesn't matter to me. This is why I have evolved. And even share the fact that you have a relationship with the divine. divine. It's just not in the manner that he's accustomed to, or the manner that he was told it was supposed to be displayed as. But nonetheless, you in your relationship with the divine is A1. Let him know that. Convey that message. Show him how you connect with the divine. Tell him why you're no longer interested. Let him know so he knows to back off. And with the strike, which is interesting because it's like a cobra, right? And the cobra has the fangs. This is the only one, I think even in the deck, that has the cobra. So it strikes with its mouth. So like I always say, closed mouths don't get fed. If you want to say something, you want it to be known, you got to speak from your chest, you got to speak from your throat, and you got to open your mouth. You got to strike. But you will never know if you don't tell them. A lot of things can be avoided. A lot of miscommunication could be cut down if we just open our mouth and let it be known. Just speak your truth. Hopefully that helped. Next question. 8E. What are the spirit's thoughts on Meg the Stallion and Tory Lanez situation? Did Tory Lanez shoot Megan the Stallion, and why? Anyways, I'm laughing because I did 2 videos. There's one video, by the time you see this, has already been released on the channel. It is titled, I believe, The Dark Side of Being Nice. And there's going to be another second parter, but it's in regards to the shooting, but it's not necessarily based specifically on the shooting. It loosely mentions it, and that will be released on Friday, and that is called Black Women Aren't Allowed to Make Mistakes. Nonetheless, what I said in that video will, I guess, kind of partly fall into this, is that what I think is Megan got caught up. She was a hot girl. She was a fun girl. She was letting loose, doing her, being seen, doing the most. And she got caught up. And when you think about it, in the situation that Meg's in, she's just new to fame. She lost two important, impactful people in her life at the same time while she's reaching fame. That is her mother. That is her grandmother. I don't think she really has a family like that. And she just got into fame. She just left her record company that she said didn't respect her, was taking advantage of her. So she seems to be very friendly and very kind of like, I just follow my heart, and you know, whatever happens, happens. You know, you wish for the best, but we're not gonna plan for the worst type of thing. And then she ends up having to backpedal and clean up later. I think the same thing would happen with the Tory Lanez situation. However, it transpired, and I talked about it in details within the video, The Dark Side of Being Nice, so check that out on the channel. But what I will say within regards to your question is that if Megan was secure with Megan and Megan being alone and Megan choosing the right people to be around, she would never be in that situation. And Tory Lanez would never be in that situation either if he never had access to her to begin with. Megan's really a busybody. She want to be seen. She want to be heard. She wanted this, that, and the third. And it's great as an artist to have your name out there, but it depends on in what context. Because it was great when Miley Cyrus was getting all the praises when she was doing Hannah Montana. But when she was going through that wild twerk phase, it wasn't so great. And people were still commenting on her, but it wasn't about her talent. It was more so about the fact that she basically shot herself in the foot. And then, like, Meg really did shoot herself in the foot. So we're going to see what the cards have in store with this whole conundrum. Again, if Megan was never hanging with Tory and never at Kylie's, the situation would have never popped off. I don't think Tory Lanez is innocent, but we have the Hierophant in reverse. But you would never be in that situation if it wasn't there. And it's not necessarily about shaming or dragging Meg. It's more about like the gift of discernment. It's more about knowing who you are and being on chill. Daughter of Wands. It's also about going to therapy, working out those issues. You lost your mom incredibly young to cancer. You lost your grandmother. You're in a new space with new faces. You don't have that guidance. You don't have that support. You don't have that love. You don't have that intimacy. And being okay with being alone. alone, being okay with being alone, and being okay with your own company. We also have two cards that kind of came out at the same time, the way they fell out the deck. And we have the, I guess we can say, the Seven of Swords in reverse. And we also have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So we have 4 cards. And we have a lot of reversal. We have 4 reversals and 1 upright. Now, what I'm seeing from this is that this is from Megan's perspective. There is an energy of like, yeah, I done fucked up and I'm learning from this and this will never happen again. That's what I'm picking up from the cards. With the Hierophant, it's speaking of like wisdom. It's talking about guidance and learning lessons and solidifying things, whether it's like a government, a marriage, a business mergership. It's talking about being able to be in something for the long run, in the long haul. And it's in reverse. We have the Daughter of Wands and it's upright. And it's speaking to like that fiery energy, that persevering, that consistency, that moving forward, marching forward, powering through, speaking with authority, speaking with audacity even, and just being that like head person in charge. The Seven of Swords in reverse, I still see this as 2 things. I see this as self-deception, but I also see this as like, I don't learn my lesson. And then I see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And this is in regards to understanding within this situation, in this context, is like seeing the light, seeing the truth, seeing like the learning lesson in this. And then if it was upright in this situation, how I would interpret it is that there's still some like illusion, there's still some like deceit, and there's still some, I won, but I won in like a sneaky manner. Like when we came to find out that, you know, certain YouTubers are racist, it's kind of like that type of thing. Like you won, but you won momentarily and you won off of deceit if it was actually upright. So let me tell you what it actually means to me, the way I'm interpreting the cards. Megan wanted to be seen. Megan wanted to be on the scene. She wanted to be seen. She wanted to do some hot girl stuff. You know, everybody's quarantined, so that means that everybody's on the internet. Everybody's trying to see what's the latest, what's going on, what's happening, or whatever. Even though we're supposed to be quarantined, obviously everybody's not quarantined. Hence why there's flare-ups in different cities. And if we regular folks ain't trying to be quarantined, then why would the celebrities try to be quarantined? So they're still going out. They're still socializing, whatever. And I think Megan had a plan. There was a plan and there was an intent to go to Kylie's party. I'm not necessarily saying that it's Megan's idea or Megan wanted to be there, but there was an intent on going to Kylie's party. It did not manifest the way it was supposed to. And in fact, it blew up in Megan's face. But Megan took it with stride. Megan took it with integrity, and Megan took it with like great leadership skills in the way that things transpired in Kylie's house, as well as the incident that happened outside of Kylie's house. The self-deception is when the nudes hit and people had their own opinions on it, the way media took it, social media people took it, how she took it. There was a lot of like not truths, hence why there's still no, at this time of recording, no definite details of like who was shooting, who was there, why did it happen, how did it happen. It's still an open investigation, and Megan's not even really cooperating to tell the full-blown details, but it's her with the bullet in the foot. However, because this card came out and it came out in reverse, and at the same time, literally, I just couldn't pick out like which card to say first because they literally came out at the same time. This was like, I'm in my feelings and I'm preserving my ego, so I'm deceiving. But with this card in reverse is that now I'm moving into, or I'll eventually move into, the space of like Now I get it. Like, I wanted to show up and be a hot girl and be in a hot tub and boom, boom, bam. But my learning lessons is I can't be with everybody. I can't be seen with everybody. Everybody's not my friend. Some people are clout chasing. Some people are dismissing me. Some people ain't really for me. Some people just want to be, you know, have the hot latest record so they'll socialize with me. So now it's like understanding the truth from the BS. The people who want to drag me in bullish, or the people who want to take advantage of me, is like now seeing the industry for what it is, now understanding the situation for what it is, and a learning lesson for what it is. So that's what I'm getting from the cards. Now, in regards to your question, did Tory shoot Megan? I'm going to take Jada's word on this and be like, it was an entanglement of sorts. It was an entanglement. I'm going to say it's an entanglement. Like you can see, all that yarn, entanglement. Okay? It was an entanglement of sorts. And that's what I got for you. Next question. 9G, love triangle. Hey, BlackWomanVibes. I am in a love triangle and can't find my way out of it. I have been in a relationship with my boyfriend for 15 months. I met him at work as a new hire. We hit it off well and became work husband / work wife. Our colleagues noticed our friendship but maintained a level of respect and professionalism. We started dating 3 months after we met, and the rest is history. My problem started a few months ago when my boyfriend brought up the idea of a third party into our bed. Of course, this third party was a woman, our co-worker, which you should never mix business with pleasure. I don't give a damn if it's some ricky dicky fry cook job, or I don't give a damn if you're the Supreme Court Justice. You do not mix business with pleasure. Even if they're outgoing and they're fun, it just don't end up well. Most times than not, it does not end up well. I would not advise it. Unless somebody's feeling to quit, or if someone's feeling to go to another department, then we might try it out on the low. But I won't choose money. So, like, it's not going to happen. If it was me. Again, this is you. Of course, this third person was a woman, our co-worker, and let's call her Anna. Anna was meek and quiet, but had a lively personality with us at the workplace. I didn't think it would be a good idea to mix work and fun, so you were thinking correctly. Again, but we asked Anna knowing she could say no and tell the whole office. To our surprise, Anna said yes. Oh, so Anna was with the shit. Anna was like... Guess we all gonna get fired today. Messy. Oh, so messy. The first time the three of us hooked up, it was a little awkward but great. Since then we've scheduled bi-weekly get-togethers. Swingers, Jada, Will, August. And I just used their situation as a reference. Wow. Anyways, it has been fun until Anna confessed to me that she wants our threesome to be a twosome with me and her. Wow. So she was going to go snatch you. She was going to go swiper, no swiping. And she was going to snatch you away from your boyfriend, not husband. Wow. She was like, I don't even need the D. Let me just give me the puss. Because that's what's really hitting, not the D. Wow. Okay, so you really gotta watch out for the quiet and silent type, okay? And it was like, don't let my face fool you. I'm with the shits. BlackWomanVibes, I'm not gay, I'm just trying shit. Freaky, experimental, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to leave my man for a woman. That's blunt. Does Anna know? I told Anna I didn't feel the same way. Anna said she accepted my rejection, but she has decided to end our arrangement a few days after. Now she is dodging my boyfriend in my calls. Something seems fishy. I don't know. Ask the cards, why has Anna's behavior changed towards me? usually when people say that they accept rejection and they're okay with it, they're saying it because it's the mature thing to do, as well as like they can't force you to change your opinion. But most times when people get hit with a rejection, especially a rejection that mattered to them, they're gonna need some time to deal with that. They're gonna need some time to sit in that. They're gonna need some time to figure out, okay, what's my next move? How do I feel about this? What does this say about me, etc., etc. So if y'all been throwing that thing back with each other for a minute, I guess she's gonna have to figure out how she's going to recenter herself back to like monogamy or two pairing partnership versus three. So maybe she's trying to figure out who is in outside of this entangled arrangement. So that's why she is the way she is. But let's see what the cards got in store. Cards, please reveal. Ooh. To 8G, what's really going on with Anthony? Well, really Anna. I forced it. So these cards literally jumped out the day. We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and we have the Justice card upright. Justice. Who feeling to get justice? Who feeling to get justice? She feeling to take you out of court, or you feeling to take her to court? Can you sue? No, you can't. Well, we might get to the point where we can sue somebody for not fulfilling our how would that be a clever way to say this? Our intimate needs. That might be a thing one day where people can sue other people because they didn't provide the intimate service that they were looking for. This also came out the deck, and it is the Son of Pentacles. Okay? What am I receiving? With the cards, what I am receiving, I feel like Anna took the rejection hard, but I feel like Anna felt like she was a part of something. I feel like Anna might be very secluded, maybe not accepting of herself. Maybe she's just a little bit awkward, socially awkward, but she really felt like